We are live.
Welcome back, Bucks fans. This is Real Bucks Talk coming to you live, as Mark said. It's been quite a week. A lot of Bucks news we're going to go over tonight. Talk, NFL draft, free agency, pretty much everything that has gone on over the last couple of weeks. So, Mark, first of all, how you doing? Again, we're in unprecedented times right now with the COVID virus and all this stuff going on. So. It's nice to take a break from what is really going on in the world and talk some Bucks football and try to get back to some normalcy, I should say.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how the NFL is kind of the center of everything. This is the only time where things can be seen, right? Nothing else is happening. There's no other sports, there's no other events. So the NFL is getting a whole lot of publicity where nothing's really happening. You're just hearing names signing contracts. But I mean, it's even hit me. Like, I got my work hours cut, and they're making us wear different things to treat people. So it's weird. It's a very different time. Like, it's kind of scary. It's unprecedented. Like, none of my kids not in school. I'll have to learn a whole schooling system online. So it's kind of weird for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's different. Working from home, so. That's definitely it's definitely a change. So everyone's going through it. But yeah, like you said, NFL is front and center right now. So with that being said, we had a lot of stuff that went on. We had the Tom Brady press conference. I thought it was pretty good. So he said the right things. A lot of I'm going to be doing the best he can to learn the playbook and stuff like that, and get the team together hopefully soon. So, I mean, just your overall thoughts of the Brady comments and what they said.
No, I mean, he said, like you said, all the right stuff. I mean, he mentioned how he's going to throw to the open guy, and it's that simple. And even Bruce Arians was laughing about it. He's like, yeah, we're not going to just throw deep, and the offense isn't built around only throwing deep, which is what a lot of Buck fans think, a lot of just media think in general. Like, oh, is he going to be able to withstand 5-7 step drops and sit back in the pocket 10 seconds? I mean, that, again, plays to the personality of the signal caller and the quarterback making the decision. And that's why Brady's coming in as one of the best, if not the best, decision maker there is at quarterback. So it's not going to be only check down Charlie like everyone thinks it's going to be. But he's going to be pushing the ball down the field. That's what usually our first read is. So, do I like everything he said? Yeah. And it was awkward that it was just a video conference a little bit because everything was delayed. But nonetheless, it was very, very fun to see any Buck news, especially the one that's all over national media. Well, I mean, other than that, and then also you saw his jet skiing. It seemed like it was in the bay.
Right.
So, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, from what I took from it, I mean, just hearing him say, like you said, throwing to the open guy, and he's a perfect fit in the offense as far as, Bruce Arians and Jason Licht said. So it was good to hear. I mean, I think he's going to be just fine. Again, we talked about it, throw with anticipation and being able to, throw to space is going to make a big deal, and knowing where to go with the ball before the play is snapped, it's going to make a big difference. And I think it's going to be exciting to see where he takes us and how good this offense can be. But it depends on how quickly he can learn everything and get up to speed as far as the playbook goes.
Yeah, that's crazy. We haven't been on here since that little video conference, or it wasn't even a video conference. It was just audio, which is crazy. You think why wouldn't it at least be a video conference? But it's been it feels like it's been a long time. Maybe because I've been out of work. There's a little bit of time, but
yeah,
it's good to be back. So other news was Ndamukong Suh was signed. Again, 1-year deal. Let's actually go look at it really quick. So Ndamukong Suh officially back, 1 year, $8 million. Gets $1.25 million less than he did last year. But isn't there like an incentive where he could earn up to $10 million?
Yeah, I believe so, and that's based on I think snaps and like certain goals as far as making playoffs and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm not too concerned about that deal. I think that's a pretty fair contract. Maybe a little high, but for the most part, I think he did a good job last year as far as doing what he was asked, and I think he'll be the same. Going forward this year, he does a good job of pretty much taking up space, helping Vita Vea and also the linebackers behind him. So big reason why they were number one in rush defense and also being able to push the pocket and get after the quarterback.
Yeah, he's pretty much the reason for the title of getting the band back together. So their first three goals, I guess, of this offseason were bring back Shaq, bring back JPP, which they did both of those, and now it's bringing back Ndamukong Suh. And then just because it's Sue, he's always, I don't know if it's because of who he replaced, which is Gerald McCoy. People just want to say bad things about certain players. Is that contract a little high? I would say so. Yes. I mean, a declining player, $8 million could be ultimately 10. And we're trying to attract veterans for cheaper. That's not a cheaper contract. I thought it would be around 6. I mean, something like what Gerald McCoy got. And then for me personally, I am an Ndamukong Suh fan. People say, oh, they're not like they were like McCoy and Ndamukong Suh. They weren't like what they were when they first started. Obviously, they're at the end of their career. What does he do well, though? Clog gaps, stand up his man, clog space, opens gaps for the people behind him, makes the job easier for everyone around him. I mean, that's what we want. We don't want him to be some elite interior edge or interior rusher, pass rusher. We don't need that. Really, what we learned from Jess Root from Rise Up See Red last year was BA and Todd Bowles' defense is all about 3 defensive tackles that stop the run. They do that very, very well, and that leads to the edge rushers getting all the pressure and the big numbers because the middle's causing so much havoc, right? So he does his job in this defense. I think he has a high value for doing that job. Not necessarily what everyone likes, the numbers. And people say he takes plays off. I mean, he played way more snaps than Vita Vea, but Vita Vea got doubled more. Okay, cool. The times I watched him on tape, he did very, very well. So I'm on his crowd, I guess. A lot of people, I don't know, with certain players, you either love them or hate them. And it was the same thing with Jameis Winston. So it's not as bad, but that's my take. What do you say?
Yeah, no, I agree with it. Again, like you said, getting Shaq Barrett, getting JPP, getting Ndamukong Suh, all back for 2020, I think it really shows, like this team has presented so far is that they're pretty much going for it. They want to win now. They want to win this year. And, bringing, that front seven back together for the most part outside of Carl Nassib is really exciting. And I think this Bucs defense has a chance to be really good if they can stay healthy and continue to progress. So, yeah, I mean, it's awesome that they were able to get all those guys back and they still have, room to add a couple more pieces here and there. And obviously they have the draft coming up. So, yeah, I'm really excited to see what this defense can do, especially under Todd Bowles again in year 2. And it should be really fun to see and really just see this defense run around like they used to back in the heyday and hit people. And I think that's what this defense is going to do this year.
Yeah, either way, they were number 1 in rush defense. You mentioned that, and they can only get better with continuity, and that's kind of something I put in the comments as well. But there was also another signing, Ryan Smith, another 1-year deal, great on special teams, and I'll let you gloat about him a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan Smith is I kind of have like a what I want to say attachment to, because in 2016 when we had the website going, I actually wrote about Ryan Smith as being a potential Buccaneers pick. He ends up going in the 4th round to our team, so that was that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'm glad to see him back. He is a very good special teams player, and I think he can play decent as far as defensive back goes. He's always in position, but for whatever reason, just can't make the play. So hopefully that's something he can improve on, going into this year. But Yeah, I think he's a good, guy to have in the locker room and good depth piece. They also brought back Andrew Adams. There's that was a little Leah make an appearance. But yeah, Andrew Adams being back as well, I think that adds good, good veteran presence to um, to the room. So yeah, I'm excited about both those guys returning. And again, that's somewhere they're going to add more depth to, especially in the safety group. I think corner. I think you're pretty much set as far as your top four guys. If you look at it, you got Carlton Davis, Jamel Dean, Sean Murphy Bunting, MJ Stewart, and then Ryan Smith. So that's a pretty good group of experience.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later because
Hmm.
that's something I wanted to talk about, needs and luxuries on this team.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I mean, that brings me to my next point of pretty much everything right now is kind of set. We have one glaring hole, which is right tackle, which seems like everyone wants. Let's just take a quick peek at this tweet I put out. It's still live right now, but I put out saying, "What position should the Bucks address with their first round pick?" An overwhelming amount says 82.6 say a right tackle.
Jeez,
Right,
man, that's like completely one sided for sure.
right. I mean, 874 votes. I mean, there's still 4 days left. If you totally disagree with that, go vote. I mean, let's see who you have to say. But
Right.
I just like to read some of these. I mean, Tommy says trade back. Right tackle, obviously ideal. Yeah, you're right. It depends how the board falls. Assuming one of the big four is there at 14, I would not trade up unless the cost was very minimal. I'm not a big fan of trading up at all. If they have no shot at one at 4, I'd actually prefer to trade back and get more picks. Fully agree with that one. Oh, Chris, I got to bring up Chris. This was actually a really good mock draft he brought up. So I guess he traded back, got Javon Kinlaw, got that right tackle in the second round with Josh Jones, and then Brandon Ayuke, really good speed guy. Jonathan Greenard, I don't know how the hell he lasted till that pick. I mean, he has even Zach Moss. Like, that was a really good draft. I mean, if the Bucks
Yeah,
could pull off something like that, I'd be elated.
yeah. A lot of those guys, unfortunately, probably won't be slotted at those certain spots. Probably go a little bit higher. I'm sure Josh Jones will probably go higher. But yeah, that's a good mock.
So that's one thing I kind of don't like with some of these mock draft maker things. Like, do we really think they're going to fall that low? Like Jonathan Greenard. I mean, he had all the measurements. He did very, very well last year at Florida. So I would think he would go at least second, maybe top of third. I mean, that looks like top of third, but I don't
Hmm.
know. You can't predict anything. Plus, the NFL draft is like a damn. Hey, guys that you didn't even think were a third round pick go in the first round. So you never know.
Right.
But because of that, I just wanted to talk. So, based on right tackle being the massive hole, do you think it should be, like I was saying, what should we address with the first round pick? I put that out. There's still 4 days for them to vote, but what do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like, with the people that say how the board, kind of falls. I mean, you really got to go and figure out what is the trend that is occurring early in the draft. Obviously you want to get the best player you can get, at that pick. It really just depends on what you feel, as far as when you're matching up position versus another position, whether it be, offensive tackle versus defensive tackle. How do you feel as far as if you pick the fifth offensive tackle versus the, third defensive tackle? Is that fifth offensive tackle better than that third defensive tackle? It's something like that's something you just have to weigh out and kind of see. And it depends on how the team stacks up their board. But personally, if one of the top four offensive tackles is there, I definitely consider it. But I also look to see, what are my trade offers? Can I trade back? Can I pick up extra picks? Um, I'm probably leaning towards trading back just because of the class that is the offensive tackle group, and you don't need an all-pro right tackle. You need a guy that can be, consistent and can do the job. So, yeah, I mean, I probably lean trade back. To be honest, I like to get more picks. I think there's a lot of good value in that day two selections. And this team really doesn't need stars right now. Yeah, you want to add to the core always, but you want good players. And I think you can get a lot of good players to help this team out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, some people are saying, "Oh, we need an elite right tackle." I don't agree with that. I think competence is what you need at that position. Everyone, again, 5, 7 step drops. Our quarterback's going to make better decisions. It's not you're almost implying that Brady is going to make Jameis Winston decisions. It's just going to be more accurate, or it's going to be a faster decision. Yeah, that faster decision will be a safer, faster decision. And because he knows, based off of, like we said in past live streams, like 20 years of experience can tell you that's going to be open. Or he can move a guy over and know, okay, he's not dragging properly. I'm going to hike it and throw it to him quicker just to get it in the hands of a playmaker so I don't have to do so much work. So it's a different mindset, different personality of a quarterback, which I always like to say. I mean, yeah, like how everyone says Bruce Arians is no risk it, no biscuit. Well, Jameis was almost like, I'm going to be a Superman. I'm going to win the damn game for you. Tom Brady's like, I'm going to have my offensive playmakers win the game for me, not myself. I'll just manage it. And that's pretty much what he is. He's a great game manager. But before I go on, I want to go a couple more of these comments on Twitter because that thing got live. But, I mean, yeah, it's Josh Jones, Demetrios. Also on the Facebook group. Let me tag that real quick. Facebook group of Real Bucks Talk. Please join us. It's fun, entertaining, a whole bunch of topics. People are starting to join more and more. It's fun. It's entertaining. We joke around. We have a good time. So if you're looking for a good outlet to talk Bucks football, come join us at Real Bucks Talk on Facebook. Ask to join. We'll automatically join you in. But going back in, Demetrios said Henry Ruggs. How would you feel if he was there?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's something that they have to weigh. I mean, if Henry Ruggs is, again, it depends. Like, if they want an offensive lineman, and one of those top four guys are there, I think they probably lean that way. But you don't know. I mean, it depends. Like, if there's a Derek Brown, Javon Kinlaw, those things you have to weigh as well. So, but yeah, Henry Ruggs would be an awesome piece to add. And I know Bruce Arians is big on adding receivers with speed. But at the same time, you weigh that as far as, the overall class. You look at the receivers and how they stack up. It's a deep group. It's probably the strongest group in this year's draft. So, and you weigh that versus offensive tackle. Can you get those positions later in the draft versus a defensive lineman that might not be as strong? And you look at the edge class, not as strong as it was last year. Defensive tackle, not as deep. So those things you have to weigh and really balance it out and see what the best move is for 14th overall.
Yeah, I mean, Henry Ruggs, I think people are seeing that Bruce Arians likes to push the ball deep. And why not get the fastest, biggest deep threat in this draft? Yes and no. I mean, because we're talking about this before the stream. Like, how many first-round wide receivers did he have that were just strictly speed? I mean, Larry Fitzgerald was probably there before he got there, right?
Yeah, correct.
So, I mean, he never really drafted a purely speed threat. I think he drafted Michael Floyd, but he wasn't a speed threat. He was a bigger dude. I mean, to me, I think Henry Ruggs is dirty. Don't get me wrong. If you can run that fast, you're special. And that's something where people are like, that's God-given. You can't teach that. So let me get him and I'll teach him how to run a route. Cool, right. Yes, but I'm more getting the fat guys, getting someone who can wreak havoc closest to the ball, not having to rely on everyone else that's closer to the ball. Like, so, I mean, I see John Brown, 3rd round, like we were talking about, J.J. Nelson, way later in the draft. So I see him taking speed. Scotty Miller, another example, later in the draft. They find just smaller guys that can book it. And, I mean, I don't think you need to waste a first-round pick on that. I don't want to say waste. I don't think you want to use a first-round pick on just a speed guy. I mean, John Ross comes to mind.
Yeah, I think if, let's say a Jerry Jeudy or a CD Lamb is available, then I think I would consider that just because Jerry Jeudy has the ability to separate really well. and be that, slot receiver, but also can play outside as well. A lot of versatility there, and he would be a perfect fit for what Brady likes to do, and also Bruce Arians. So even CD Lamb, same thing. I mean, he's just a mismatch nightmare that can get down the field and be physical and really attack the football. So yeah, I think those guys would be in consideration, sure. But again, it just depends on how they stack their board, and I'm leaning towards they want an offensive line just because of how much Bruce Arians has talked about it, how much Jason Light has mentioned it. But then they could just flip the script and go defensive line, and I'd be fine with Kinlaw or Caleb on Chason, any of those guys. I'd be happy with.
Those were two other big names that everyone wanted. But so this brought me to this question. So since everyone, 83%, wanted a right tackle, let's go over to what I asked. How would you feel if the Bucs didn't take an offensive tackle at 14, especially if one of the top four are still on the board? So I got a lot of comments as well. Like,
yeah,
what? Shitty, pissed, fuck. Like, there's a lot of just wouldn't make sense not to take it. Have me on your next pod. I'll go more in depth. That's you better take it, right? Like, more pissed than when we passed on Derwin James. That one got me. But the stuff like that, like, I mean, people are wait a minute, ecstatic, but hopefully that means he's going to take a defensive lineman, taking Kinlaw or Chason.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's some people. At this point, me too, or two. I mean, people are set on right tackle. That's what it really truly sounds like.
Right.
But I mean, I again kind of broaden the mind a little bit. It doesn't have to be an elite tackle. It just has to be enough for where Brady can read it and get it out. I mean, when they last won the Super Bowl, who was Trent Brown? Was their left tackle, and he was an undrafted free agent.
Right.
The 49ers signed him, but then the Patriots picked him up, and all of a sudden he gets 15 plus or more than that million in free agency after playing one par year. Like, you just have to have someone who's going to do just enough. You don't need Joe Thomas. You don't need Orlando Pace. You don't need a Jonathan Ogden. You don't necessarily need that. It'd be a hell of a good thing to have, but then you have the Donald Penns of the world, right? Undrafted again. DeMar Dotson. I'm not saying wait for undrafted, but you don't necessarily need to go and get your right tackle immediately in the first round.
No, it does. And if they do decide to pass on one of them, I kind of hope they have like a trade offer in place where they can trade down. Maybe they're trading down with a team that wants one of those guys and they get some extra picks. But then it could also mean that, a Derek Brown or a Javon Kinlaw, we talked about this, those guys are available. Or maybe, they take a risk and go after, one of the top receivers. I wouldn't say that's a risk, but maybe go that way and really build the offense even more. Just have top flight weapons and, make defenses try to stop you. But again, it goes to my point of talking about the depth of this class at offensive tackle. I mean, it's really deep, and you have guys like Austin Jackson, you have Josh Jones, Lucas Niang or Niang. Yeah, I mean, those guys are good, and they can play pretty well. You have Isaiah Wilson, a bunch of guys that you could get in later rounds that could be a very serviceable right tackle. And I know this hasn't been brought up, but maybe this is kind of what fans are thinking. I think they want to get one of these guys to eventually be the left tackle of this team because of the hate for Donovan Smith. I mean,
a little bit. Yeah,
just a little bit of hate for Donovan, and it's unjustified, really. I mean, you look at Donovan Smith's tape; it was a lot better last year than it has been. It's just they just get on him because he gets beat, every now and then. And it becomes a big, big topic, and people, yelling and screaming at Donovan, and he doesn't deserve the criticism that he receives because, truthfully, I mean, the guy's a hell of a run blocker when he's in there, and then pass protector. I mean, he does his job. I mean, it's tough on him because he has to block guys for 4 to 5 seconds per play. Maybe he doesn't have to do that now because Brady is being Brady and getting rid of the football.
Yeah, I mean, I almost see it like a goalie, right? I mean, a goalie in hockey, like they save it 96% of the time, right? That's kind of like what Donovan Smith does. I mean, of like the 60, 70 plays or whatever they get a game, he may make a mistake or just look like a fool once or twice. He's facing some of the best athletic dudes every snap. You're going to tell me he's not going to get tired, or he's sitting down in a squat, 340 pounds, whatever he is, sitting down waiting for the dude to say hike, please, God, say hike. Like, so, I mean, you got to think, like, he's a big dude. He's going to get tired. He's going to need breaks, too. So, if it's one time he gets beat, just don't kill my quarterback. Just, please. And Brady's going to get flagged. So, that's another benefit for getting Brady. But I think he does a serviceable job. He's not elite. Okay, I understand that. He's not Joe Thomas. I'm not going to name all the names, but he does his job correctly. And I could make a whole bunch of his good, positive blocks where he's annihilated people. Maybe more people would think he's better than, I guess. Because, I mean, I can make Tom Brady look like a big bag of shit. I'm just being serious. I mean, I can put all of his interceptions on one clip and say, oh, he's trash, washed up, retire. But, again, he's proven year after year he can win. He manages the game great. I mean, he's going to get you in the best position to win games. I think Donovan Smith does enough, more than enough, to actually be considered a good, above average left tackle, I'll say.
Right.
And that's all I'm asked for right tackle. I think if we're going to lean on a rookie right tackle, like a lot of people are trying to do, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But let me go to the questions real quick. Beef Tongue, my boy from the Facebook group. He said,
what up, Beef Tongue?
Hell yeah. He said, so tired of the AB and Josh Gordon posts around Bucks pages. I'm more excited about Cooks from LA. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, is that official? Is Cooks available? Has he been released? I mean, I'd be excited about that too. If you can get him for the right price. Again, he would have to take probably a pretty good pay cut. We don't have much cap space as far as signing any more significant contracts. But I mean, if you can get him, that'd be awesome. I mean, he'd be a perfect slot guy. He's worked with Tom Brady before, and he'd bring a lot of speed to the table.
It's more like how he's not going to be traded because I guess the contract. So I guess they're still waiting for him to be cut.
Right.
But I mean, realistically, that would be the perfect little shifty dude that everyone's wanting. The Wes Welker or what's it called? Edelman that everyone wants. Like, but then again, yeah, we have like no money now. Let's just be honest. Like, we have the draft, and that's about it. What do we have? 2 million left after that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty tight. I mean, they could work some money around if they really want to get a guy. I know Bruce Arians talked about potentially getting more defensive back depth. I think he's probably talking safety, and then he also wanted a pass catching running back. So it looks like they're definitely going to draft a running back. I would say so. They're leaning towards that way. And you saw Peyton Barber. He's now with the Redskins. So definitely need to add some more talent to the running back room, which I think they will.
Yeah, and then he kind of asked about, did I hear correctly? The Bucks are raising ticket prices. That's ballsy, he said.
Yeah, I mean they're raising tickets. I believe that's season tickets for new season ticket holders. So yes, they did raise it 15%, and it looks like people are not really caring. They're still buying tickets, so it should be sold out. It's going to be different at Ray J this coming fall.
My answer, quick and short. Oh yeah, supply and demand. You got Brady, then you got demand.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's
exactly
pretty much how it goes. But so my next question was leading up to this. So right tackle, we discussed it.
Right.
We kind of discussed if it wasn't right tackle first round, Kinlaw, Derek Brown, one of the wide receivers. we'll go more in depth and draft prospects later. But realistically, looking at the roster right now, and I said, oh, we don't have much money. My thing is this: everyone thinks right tackle's a need. Where else do you see anything that we have a need anywhere on the roster? Like, I feel right now we are set at a lot of positions, and we're game day ready almost everywhere besides, I guess, right tackle. Do you agree? Or because I'm saying everyone's wanting another safety, everyone wants another edge rusher or another wide receiver. I think right now those are luxuries, and the only need we have is right tackle. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, you look at it from a starter perspective. You look at the 22 starters listed probably right now. I would say this team is pretty much set, like you said. I don't see any glaring weakness or hole. You got pretty much all your starters back on defense. Yeah, I mean, all of them are back. You look at your offense. I think even with Joe Haig, who if he has to start at right tackle, I think you're fine with that. So yeah, you got all your key positions in place as far as starters go. Obviously, depth, you want to add depth anywhere you can. So I would say, you look at it, running back, I think needs, definitely some added pieces there. Offensive line, I think interior depth is needed. And then also, like you said, at the tackle position. And then defensively, I think you just need to add some more pieces up front because you want to get younger at those spots, especially inside defensive tackle area, and then also on the outside as well. Secondary, I think you're pretty much fine. Again, it just comes into question if you're getting Justin Evans or not. Obviously, I think they're going to add, a safety, here or there, whether it be late free agency or in the draft somewhere.
Yeah, so Beef Tongue said the same thing. He agrees about the starters on the roster. It's just the depth he's worried about. And, dude, so am I. I mean, but that's with every team. Every team's going to want
exactly.
Depth, right? That's what every team's going to want depth. I mean, if you look at the corners, if Carlton Davis goes down, Jamel Dean can move over. Sean Murphy-Bunting did great in the slot. Outside, he did well in college. We don't know if he can do that in the NFL. I would assume he could. But then who's your slot? Is it going to be Ryan Smith? I think they'd probably trust Ryan Smith more on the outside because Sean Murphy-Bunting does a lot of things in that slot position. And right. I'm not going to put MJ Stewart on the outside. That's for damn sure. So, that's a big, depth problem. If one of them gets hurt, which Jamel Dean got hurt at times last year, didn't Davis get hurt at times last year? I mean,
right.
There was something. Ryan Smith was starting 2 years ago, right, in the Pittsburgh game where he balled out and then never played another damn snap. So I mean, exactly. Injuries happen on every team. So I mean, corner you're going to look at it. Safety. I mean, Justin Evans, if he comes back, we're deep. If he doesn't, okay, well then that's another big hole. But same with the offensive line. We don't know who's at right tackle. If Haig does start there, do we even have a backup right tackle?
I mean, yeah, the tackle depth is really not there. I mean, you have Donovan Smith, Joe Haig, and I believe that's pretty much it. I don't even know who the other tackles are. I think it's probably some practice squad players that would be available.
Like Seaton?
Maybe Seaton, and I think that's it. Because Gerald Hawkins hasn't been brought back. Yeah. Not brought back yet. I'm trying to think of the other guys that they had. Josh Wells, I don't think has been brought back. So, yeah, I mean, you're pretty thin there. So, I mean, they're pretty much showing that they're going to draft a tackle. I mean, they're going to draft tackle at some point. We just don't know if it's going to be 14. So they got a lot of options they can go at, and I think that's a good thing. I think they have versatility as far as where they can attack. But I think we pretty much know the main positions that they're going to be looking for. And really looking for pieces that, fit what they want to do schematically. I think that's most important. And that's something that they did really well last year, and I think they're going to do that again this year.
I mean, you're talking luxury hole. That my thing is this. So last year they kind of gave away Devin White as a first-round pick, our first 5 overall.
Yeah.
Do you think they're really giving away anything this year? Like, almost everyone knew Devin White's going to be the pick. We kind of fought it left and right. I don't know if anyone here actually remembered us talking that. It was just positional value. That was our big thing. But, I mean, I feel like they haven't really given anything away. Yeah, obviously right tackle's the only need, but do you think they really do make it that right tackle? Are they making it that simple again for us? Or what if that dude's not there? That's the question.
Yeah, again, that's the thing because this year you're at 14 instead of 5, so it's just playing that board and really seeing how it falls. I mean, if you run through it, you look at the teams ahead of us. There's teams that need offensive tackles. There's teams that need receivers. They need pass rush as well. So really just depends on the direction as far as what these other teams want to do. Is the quarterbacks going to go high? Are you going to have 3 quarterbacks in the top 10? Could you have 4 quarterbacks in the top 10? That's something that plays a big part in it, and who's available. Does Jordan Love get up there into the top 12, or does another team like the Patriots? Do the Patriots trade up and go get a quarterback because maybe they don't feel highly on Jared Stidham or one of the guys they have in place? I know they brought in Brian Hoyer, so yeah, I mean, there's always those wild cards you got to look for, but right now it's looking like offensive tackle. But again, this is weird process right now because of what is going on in the world, and you don't have pro days, you don't have your usual visits, so it makes it kind of weird. I mean, you hear now teams, okay, they had a Skype meeting with a certain prospect.
We're having a Skype meeting. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know. This is what NFL teams are doing right now, so that's pretty awesome. It's kind of, you kind of hope they share a meeting after the process is done and see what teams ask and stuff during this Skype meeting, but they probably wouldn't do that because of privacy and all that stuff. So, but it'd be cool.
I mean, hey, the draft's still a little ways away. It's less than a month. And what sucks, guys, we will not be there. I don't think anyone will be there because of what is going on in the world. This COVID-19 that is ruining a lot of our lives and halting a lot of our lives, and some worse than others. I mean, people are dying. A lot of people are dying. We've taken over the most infected people with this COVID-19 right now. More than China, more than Italy, so it's real. So this stay home thing, especially if you're 65 and over, stay home. Okay?
Yeah.
You're almost writing your little death certificate if you get out and you're 65 and above. So so us young guys, they want to go out there and just chug it up. I mean, just stay home. I mean, do it at home. Have a Bucks podcast. But let's go on. Let's keep going on. Let's go over to Beef Tongue again. He said, do you think it's useful to draft or play a fullback anymore? Or is the position dying? I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Fullback is still alive, but it is it's very rare because only a few teams use fullbacks. I mean, obviously you have Baltimore, you have San Francisco, Oakland. It's really not used in the same way that it was. I mean, you don't have the Mike Allstotts of the world that were being the fullback, and he really wasn't even a fullback. I mean, he was an okay blocker, better runner than he was fullback. But you look at these other teams that have fullbacks. I mean, they know how to utilize them, but they're also different. They're more modern. They catch the football well. They know how to block. They're kind of like an extra tight end. But yeah, I mean, it's the way offenses are played. You're more empty set. You have a lot more receivers on the field. I know, look at the Bucks offense. It's a lot of 3-4 wide receiver sets using, tight ends as your blockers. Anthony Auclair is usually our fullback, or you have, Cam Brate or OJ out there. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough position. I don't know if, kids in high school are really playing fullback today, just because they're probably adapting to, what offenses are now in college. I mean, it's throw the football around everywhere.
I mean, so it kind of, I've answered this before in the past. It's more, look at what the fullback position usually was. You think of Lorenzo Neal, not even Allstott. You think of like little stocky, short arm alligator like the Geico commercial. I'm gonna reach for the check. No, I mean, so they don't have long arms. Usually just a muscle build little short guy that can just bowling ball into a defender just to make space.
Right.
That right now in today's NFL isn't really what you need. You need speed. You need length. You need size. Yes, you need power, but everyone needs power in this today's day and age, unless you're Deshaun Jackson. So, so the thing is it dying? I think it is, but it's being reinvented with, like you said, tight ends that can play multiple positions, like Travis Kelce going in the backfield to take a damn direct snap to run for a first down in the Super Bowl. Did he not do that? I mean, so you have scary athletic guys like that can take up for a fullback, or even like, who was that Redskins dude a while back? He was almost, they called him the H-back. Cooley.
Yeah, Chris
right?
Cooley.
Chris Cooley. That was kind of the mold that you wanted to get, and then all of a sudden now you got bigger and bigger and bigger guys being able to do that. So really, you don't really need that fullback, because besides Spider 2Y Banana, which it could work just as well with a tight end being back there. Or Vita Vea back there. Okay, so
that's a fullback.
That's a fullback, and I played that Jets clip on audio. You couldn't hear it.
So great.
But like, I think it is dying per se. It's just being filled in with a different mold of player. I mean, there's gonna be ways to use it. I mean, Vita Vea is a fullback technically on some plays. Like, it's just a different mold of player that's gonna be in there. It's not the usual stocky guy.
Right.
But before we go on to the next Bucks big question, we're gonna go over to. He wanted to talk about the uniforms. He said, "What uniform do you like?" So I'll go over. So my personal favorite, this dude. If you're not following him on Twitter, I have to put him out there. He does some good mock-ups, and I think you know who I'm gonna say. Samir Ali.
Yeah, he does a great job.
I mean, besides number 3 advertising these, those are some legit mock-ups. I love that one, and obviously all red, nice. But those are badass to me. I just think they are. But these are the ones that came out saying what they would look like.
Right.
Literally, it looks like just the old uniform,
the
Super Bowl days uniform. I don't think it's going to be exactly that, because why would they be advertising that little orange little bit, right? So,
I mean, based on the player reaction video that they recently put out, with Devin White and Chris Godwin, Levante David, I think it's going to be not even close to what that was showing. I think it's going to be it'll probably be a little bit of everything, a little bit of, the old, the new.
Saying classical?
Yeah, classical look.
I wonder what that orange is.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a clean uniform. So, I like the Super Bowl uniforms. I think those are great. But I think it's just going to add a little bit more modern twist to it. But I think it's going to be really nice.
I hope so. I hope it's. I mean,
people. You can only go up. You can only go up, Mark.
People are saying that, but there's always a down too. I mean, there's.
I mean, my complaint with the current ones is just the numbers. I mean, if they get the number font right and not have the alarm clocks, I'll be fine with that.
The alarm clocks. And they're like glow in the dark too, right?
Exactly.
High beam, so if there's a truck coming by, they'll see us. They won't hit us, right? that was really needed in a football field.
Right.
But, so I wanted to bring this mock draft up and see how Buck fans would react. So let's get into it. Joe Burrow at number 1.
Great
obviously,
pick.
Correct. Tua number 2. Holy shit.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Well, let's go on a little faster. Chase
I can see that. Yeah.
Hubert, Wirfs. First offensive tackle, guys. Mekhi Becton right after. Oh my God, 2 are gone. Panthers get a cornerback. What? Just to replace that guy. Henry Ruggs already off the board. What in the hell are we talking about?
A lot of trades I see.
Kinlaw gone. Thomas. 3 of them are gone. Jesus, what are the Bucks going to do, guys? It's coming up. Isaiah Thomas gone. CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy. What did the Bucks do? Derek Brown. And there was who? Jarek Willis still on the clock. So.
Derek Brown's a great pick.
Derek Brown is a great pick. but
Yeah.
Jared Willis was still on the board. This was the big dilemma. And look,
Jedrick
damn,
Will.
Caleb
Yeah.
Von Chason's still on the board. So these three right here, those are three good damn players. So if you were presented with the same situation, would you have taken Derek Brown over Jedrick Willis or Chase?
Yeah. Jedrick Wills.
Willis, forgive me.
That's okay. I mean, Derek Brown is probably a top 5 player in this class. I think I would probably lean towards Derek Brown just because of what he can bring. But yeah, Jedrick Wills is probably my top offensive tackle in this class. So I would probably lean towards Derek Brown just because I want younger on that defense. I want a guy that can put up next to Vita Vea, and that that would be quite the duo with Derek Brown and Vita Vea next to each other. You would have a hard time, choosing who you're going to double, and then pretty much you have singles on the outside with JPP and Shaq Barrett. So it'll be interesting for sure.
I mean, look, even at the reasoning, Bucs can get a right tackle later in the draft.
Exactly.
In fact, they might draft 2 outside offensive linemen this year. But getting stud Derek Brown with the 14th pick is too rich to pass up, even with Ndamukong Suh returning. I fully agree.
Yeah.
I mean, even though I have Jedrick Wills as my number 1 offensive tackle as well.
Yeah, Mark. Yeah, Mark, talk about because you recently put out a video on Tristan Wirfs. I mean, what just your overall thoughts on him? I know we talked about it, and I didn't have him as high as you did, originally. I know now you've seen a little bit more of him. I mean, what's your opinion on him?
So immediately when I first saw him, I already knew he was athletic. I didn't need the combine to tell me this. The dude, strong as hell, has all the traits you want: size, strength, height, hand size, arm length. Yeah, he has it. And even in tape, you can see how he can move. He's agile for a man that size. So, they had him 5th in this draft. But when I'm looking at it myself, great in the run game. He's going to terrorize you. He wants to move forward. He looks great moving forward. The second he starts backpedaling, he gets choppy. He crosses his legs a lot. He turns his whole hips too much. I'm on a rolly chair, so I can do that. Turns his hips a little too much. I mean, he tries to use that strength to push forward a little too much. So, but the thing is, he does fit that mold of he has everything you want. Let me just teach him to be better. And I said at the end of the breakdown, I'm like, okay, yeah, he could end up being a Pro Bowler at the end of his career. I mean, just at the end of just second year, a Pro Bowler. But early on, with Tom Brady, I don't know if you would want a guy that's really good at run blocking. Again, we don't run block a lot, or we don't run the ball a lot. And people want us to run left and right and left. We need to start running. Be like the Tennessee Titans. But our team isn't built that way. We're built totally different. So we want to pass the ball. I'd rather have a better pass blocker right now than a better run blocker. And that's why I like Jedrick Wills better. Mm-hmm. But Wirfs, when it comes to the end-all be-all, he may be the best offensive lineman in this draft. I'll just be blunt about that. Or Mekhi Becton. Yeah, because those two have all the measurables you want and athleticism you want.
Right.
But the thing is, I think so many people are so hyped up about the 4.8 he ran, 4.85 that he ran, the vertical leap. I put that. Those are the first things I talk about. But, I mean, the thing is that you don't need that to be an offensive lineman. You think Donald Penn ran anything like that? No. I don't want my fat guy running that fast. And yeah, I highlighted a lot of that. And he could be one of the greatest offensive linemen, but to me, if he is there at 14, I don't know if I would take him just based off of supposed win now situation. I'd almost want a guy that's better at pass blocking right now than having to learn on the go.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean that was a great video. So be sure to check that out, Bucs fans. My thing is, I asked you this question though, just to follow up on that. Is he kind of in the same boat as far as a Devin White, where he's got you see the potential of what he could be, and maybe he gets that coaching over the summer and becomes that top player per se, quicker than you would think.
Good question. Um,
Because I know that was our questions with Devin White last year, but again, it's different position. A lot more mental processing goes on, but I guess that goes on with offensive linemen as well, for sure.
I mean, to me, Devin White's job was so much easier with Sue and Vita Vea in front of him that
Correct.
he could easily diagnose and do it. And to me, like, Wirfs is going to be on an island against some great pass rushers. I think it's a lot harder for an offensive lineman to do well immediately in the league than it is for any other position. I'm not going to say any other position, but it's a lot
Right.
harder. They're on an island almost.
That's true.
And look at the Falcons. They drafted 2 rookie offensive linemen last year. Their line sucked last year.
That's true.
Matt Ryan was eaten alive, and everyone says, "Oh, Dirk Cutter was just doing his deep down the field passes."
Yeah.
God, everyone wants to say that, but
Right. No, that's good points, and I agree with that. I look at his tape; he's just a little bit too raw for me as far as the technique goes. I would say the same thing with Mekhi Becton. So I probably have those guys ranked lower than I do, Jedrick Wills and then Andrew Thomas. I'd have Andrew Thomas, a little bit higher than what people are saying. So, hit him, with Andrew Thomas, I think it's just a little bit consistency issue. He's on the ground a little bit too much, but for the most part, he's really solid, especially in pass protection.
Beef Tongue said, "I will take Wills over Brown. Both would be fire." Hey,
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. I mean, either or would be a great pick. It would fit needs. But Derek Brown is the higher ranked player in my opinion as far as
oh yeah,
overall tape.
yeah. Overall tape, easily Derek Brown I would take, but
Mhm.
let me just put this plug in there. This is our YouTube page. Come join it. This is that Tristan Wirfs video I was talking about.
Yeah,
Tom
like,
Brady.
share, and subscribe.
Yeah, come join us. I mean, we got 5 watching. We're gonna get more. Don't worry, guys. But like, hey, we're just starting this. I mean, this is something where we've been wanting to do for a while, and we just haven't either put our minds to it or just didn't have the time like we are now. But hey, Derek Brown over Wills, yes. But oh wait, we have one other question. So Maddie SOP said, "Do you think Tom is training with any wide receivers in private during the pandemic?"
Yeah. Hey, Matt, what's going on, man? That's a great question. I think that's definitely gonna happen. Probably in the next couple of months. I'm sure they'll find a way to get together. You know, at a certain point, and then they'll be able to work out. I think Tom's probably going over the playbook right now. Probably doing something like we're doing right now. Calling teammates on Skype or what have you, and try to get a better understanding of what they like and where they want the football. So yeah, all that stuff is taking place. So yeah, I think it'll happen eventually. I just don't know how soon. Hopefully these guys can get into OTAs and stuff like that and have an actual mini camp.
I mean, that was Tom Brady's little Instagram page again. I mean, I guess he's out in the water. It looks like it's around here because I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be in the water in Boston right now. So,
No.
I mean, it's just cool to see. It seems like he's in Tampa Bay. I mean, if someone sees him out there, damn. I hope I'm the first one to see him. We'll go, Tom Brady! All right, but other than that, yeah, it is crazy to think we have Tom Brady. But is he training with wide receivers? I hope to God he is. I hope he's at least calling them, talking to them. Hopefully he has already half of Davis Island bought, and he's training together over there with Jeter. But I mean,
Yeah. The main issue is just travel. I mean, if they can find a way to get together, I think they'll make it happen. Just have to have guys in the same area. So it's just, travel restrictions right now. Once that gets lifted, I'm sure you'll see something, in that regards.
but the sad part, we don't even know when the hell that's going to be.
I know,
That's
I know.
the
It's
scary and sad part.
yeah, it's tough right now. We don't even know. I mean, I hate to say it, but we don't even know if there's going to be a season. It's just you take it day by day right now and hope for the best.
And that's the sad part. The Bucks get Tom Brady, the GOAT.
Yeah, that would be the Bucks life right there.
God.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but other than that, anything else you want to go over, or
No, I'm good. I'm excited. I'm just excited as far as this team goes. I really hope. Uh, I hope we have a season. I just hope this stuff goes away quickly, and we can get back to normalcy around the world. But yeah, I mean, just really like what the Bucks are doing so far as bringing back the core defensive players. You have guys in place to be really good. I think this unit could be really good, and I'm excited to see what they do in the draft. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Remember that name. That's the guy I want at running back. I think he's gonna be really good.
well, and also to throw this in there, be anxious to look at our next video breakdown, which will likely be Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Awesome.
So I think I kind of put a tidbit out there saying I was watching him and I saw Derek Brown just maul their right guard, who supposedly had a Skype video conference with the Bucks, Damian Lewis.
Yeah, Damian Lewis. Yeah,
so
good
if you
player.
Check him out. I mean, getting leveled by Derek Brown again. Reason why we like him a lot. But other than that, Buck fans, I mean, awesome questions. It was fun. It's enjoyable to talk Buck football in this awkward moment we are in time.
Right. No, I agree. Everyone stay safe. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. And again, more to come. Everyone have a great night and go Bucks.
Go Bucks. End.
Leo.